You're watching Machindo's hometown station, HTV1.
Hello everyone, it's Brett Boyd from the Market House, where we have adjusted our hours to serve the community and keep our community and our associates safe. So now Market House is available to you from 9 until 6 every single day, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. with an exclusive shopping hour for seniors from 9 to 10. And don't forget our text shopping service as well, 517-234-2020. Market House is here for you.
Tired of having everyone know you're coming before you arrive because of your exhaust? If so, then it's time to call the experts at RS Custom Exhaust in Hillsdale. RS Custom Exhaust has all the tools and parts to make your vehicle quiet again. And for you sports car enthusiasts, if you're looking for the roar to be the king of the roads, RS Custom Exhaust can help you too. With free estimates and first-class service, RS Custom Exhaust has your vehicle covered. So stop and see them today, located at 1461 Vera Drive in Hillsdale.
From Machindo's news leader, this is HTV1 News at noon.
Well, all three states in the Machindo area are preparing for their first steps in relaxing restrictions brought on by the novel coronavirus pandemic, and they're doing so against the backdrop of infection rates that are now just becoming clear, even as the curve appears to be flattening. Well, good afternoon, Machindo. I'm Scott Pienta. Well, let's start with the hard numbers. In Branch County, there are now 67 total cases and 2 deaths. Now, that does not count the Lakeland Correctional Facility, but we'll come back to that one in a moment. Hillsdale County reports 131 cases and 19 deaths. Lenawee County reports 107 confirmed cases, 49 in recovery, and 2 deaths. Now, there are 23 probable cases in Lenawee County with 7 recovering and no deaths in that category. The state of Michigan reports 15,659 people have recovered statewide. Now, over in Steuben County, the latest numbers show 26 positive cases, 14 recoveries, and 1 death. The Steuben County Health Department says 436 tests have been administered there. Williams County counts 30 confirmed cases, 6 probable cases, and 1 death. And Fulton County reports 23 confirmed cases, 1 probable case, and no deaths. The Lakeland Correctional Facility has become the focal point for the Michigan Department of Corrections' response to the coronavirus pandemic. As we told you Thursday, the 14th Lakeland inmate died from COVID-19 last week, just after all prisoners at the cold water facility were tested, and 787 of those tests came back positive, in addition to 32 staff members who tested positive outside that process. 622 of the prisoner tests came back negative, while 22 have recovered. And while prisoners across the country have been struggling to deal with the pandemic, Michigan in particular has gained national attention, and Lakeland is far from the only hotspot. The Detroit Metro Times reports that nearly half of the inmates that have been tested so far have been infected, and only 8.2% of the inmates have been tested as of last week. Now, several inmates from across the state have filed a federal class action lawsuit against the Michigan Department of Corrections, claiming their 8th Amendment to protection against cruel and unusual punishment has been violated. Quoting the lawsuit, WTVB says that the plaintiffs allege that MDOC has failed to implement necessary or adequate policies and practices throughout its prisons to handle the pandemic, referring to the virus as a ticking time bomb. Now, they added that the department's response to the outbreaks has been woefully inadequate. Locally, Lakeland prisoner Lamont Hurd is one of the plaintiffs, and Warden Brian Morrison has been named as one of the 4 defendants. Well, in the filing, Hurd claims that he was told by Lakeland medical staff that because some inmates of his unit had already tested positive and exposed to the others, that there was no reason to put any of them in quarantine. Now, Hurd also alleged that he was told by medical and unit officers not to request medical care unless it was severe. But when he asked what was considered severe, well, no one would give him an answer. Hurd was serving a life sentence for a murder he committed in Pontiac in 1995. The MDOC website claims that they led the nation in consistency testing prisoners when they have symptoms of COVID-19. MDOC officials have also said in previous statements that the majority of those who tested positive at Lakeland did not have or show any symptoms. Tested positive at Lakeland did not show any symptoms. Previous comments have also alleged that some prisoners would not report their symptoms because they did not want to go into isolation and lose their privileges. Meanwhile, the Correction Center of Northwest Ohio is taking new inmates again. Well, this is just a week after the regional jail decided to stop admitting non-violent offenders due to a small spike in cases at the regional jail. The Bryan Times says the facility's executive board decided on Friday to reverse the decision because the week-long suspension, along with efforts from the staff and administration to stop the spread of the virus, have been effective enough to reopen. Executive Director Dennis Sullivan told the board of the situation is not over, but everyone is handling it well. On the April 24th, CCNO reported its 19 inmates and 4 staff members had tested positive for the novel coronavirus. And on Friday, Sullivan said just 1 additional inmate and 2 more staff members had tested positive. 4 of the 6 staff members were set to return to work yesterday. An additional 5 inmates are considered probable cases. 4 other staff members and the unconfirmed number of inmates were still awaiting results heading into the weekend. Now, Sullivan said none of the cases so far have required hospitalization, and 2 units expect to be cleared from quarantine within the week. He said another unit could still have to go into quarantine, but the jail has enough quarantine space to handle the current cases. He added that the inmates who have tested positive only showed light symptoms. Sullivan said that while the jail will continue accepting new nonviolent inmates, he said asked local courts and law enforcement to consider overall state inmate population as the pandemic continues to create the need for adequate isolation and quarantine space. Well, the Miller poultry processing plant outside Orland remains closed today due to the coronavirus concerns. Well, this is according to a press release reported by WLKI. 6 staff members and 1 Department of Agriculture employee tested positive for the novel coronavirus on Thursday. While no health department task force has been sent to the facility at this time, the company says they're working with Cameron Hospital to test all employees at the company's expense. They're also working with the county and state health officials to keep those cases isolated. But despite initially stating plans to continue operation in accordance with the President Trump's recent executive order forcing meat plants to stay open, well, the company announced last night that all shifts were canceled for today. They say results from testing that was done on Friday and Saturday have not yet returned, and they are closing today strictly as a precautionary measure. The Friday press release says hourly employees have been receiving a $100 per week appreciation bonus for the past month and has now been extended to 6 weeks with the possibility of continuing even further. Miller has also instituted paid leave for anyone who falls ill with the virus or has to quarantine. Miller Poultry is one of the Steuben County's largest employers with over 1,000 workers. Well, there is some good news from the Hillsdale County Medical Care Facility. Now they report that 8 residents were discharged from their isolation unit by the end of last week. The nursing home has seen a significant outbreak as of the novel coronavirus, in that at the time was a primary source of cases in Hillsdale County. But that has since stabilized, and cases otherwise elsewhere in the county have far outpaced it. MCF officials have told HTV1 News that they're taking every precaution to make sure that there is no further spread of their facility. In a Friday post on their Facebook, they say that they're remaining vigilant and they're cautiously optimistic that they will be bringing signs of healing and rejuvenation. Well, all 3 states in the Mission area are trying to chart their way forward amid calls to reopen the economy, but not everyone is happy about the outcome. Well, those stories when HTV1 News at noon continues.
There's a reason that professionals shop at Jonesville Lumber. They expect quality, service, and knowledge. And that's exactly what they receive. For nearly 100 years, Jonesville Lumber has been family owned. We take pride in serving our area with great products at competitive prices. We have dedicated project estimators in-house, that will help figure the materials needed to complete your next task at hand. Whether you're building your dream home, adding a pole barn, building a deck, updating your kitchen, or painting your front door, let Jonesville Lumber help you with your next project.
Authentic Mexican food is just a short drive away at El Cerrito in Coldwater and Hillsdale. The variety-packed menu has something for everyone, with classic Mexican dishes, El Cerrito specialties, and tasty treats for dessert. Don't forget the best margaritas in town with margarita specials Friday and Saturday. And carry-out ordering is great for work lunches or picking up dinner for the family. Make your next meal a fiesta for your taste buds at El Cerrito on Chicago Street in downtown Coldwater and Carlton Road in Hillsdale.
A second smaller protest against Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer's executive order took place Thursday. According to CNN, the Michigan State Police estimated up to 700 people stood on the Capitol grounds demanding an end to the state of emergency at all the same time that the state legislature voted on the issue. Now, about 270 people were allowed to move inside the Capitol Rotunda, where they faced off with a line of Michigan State police officers blocking their way into the chambers. Video from MLive showed the crowd in close quarantines, with many without masks and some openly carrying firearms, which is legal inside the Capitol building. The crowd engaged in multiple chants, including "Let us in," and, in reference to Whitmer, "Lock her up." Now, as with the April 15th Operation Gridlock protests, some demonstrators were seen with Nazi symbols, Confederate flags, and even nooses. Now, some lawmakers commented that they felt unsafe, and one state senator, Dana Polanek of Livonia, said that some of her colleagues were wearing bulletproof vests on the chamber floor. Now, on Friday, Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey praised those who remained peaceful while vehemently condemning those who didn't. Now, in a statement posted on Twitter, Shirkey said yesterday that we saw a great number of citizens protest the actions of their government. Many protest safely and responsibly, and I respect and appreciate their efforts. Several other so-called protesters used intimidation and the threat of physical harm to stir up fear and feed rancor. I condemn their behavior and denounce their tactics. Now, their actions hurt their cause and steal away the rights of others by creating an environment where responsible citizens do not feel safe enough to express themselves. They do not represent the Senate Republicans. At best, those so-called protesters are just a bunch of jackasses. Well, on Friday, Governor Whitmer called those elements of the protest disturbing, and on CNN's State of the Union yesterday said that they depict some of the worst racism and awful parts of the country's history. Now, she added that the behavior seen at the protest is, quote, not representative of who we are in Michigan. Well, as we mentioned, those protests took place on the same day that the Michigan's legislature voted down Governor Whitmer's request to extend the state of emergency. However, that stirred up a power struggle. As MLive, WTVB, and WLNS report, the Republican majorities in the State House and the Senate say Whitmer must abide by the 1976 law that gives them the authority to end her emergency powers after 28 days. But Whitmer has issued orders under both that law and a law from 1945 that bypasses the legislature. On Thursday, both chambers gave their leaders the authority to challenge Whitmer's orders in court. The House also approved a Senate bill that would limit emergency declarations to 14 days before requiring approval from the legislature. But just as the approved state of emergency was set to expire, Whitmer has issued a new 3 executive orders to extend the state of emergency through May 28th. The governor said it was for times like this that the 1944 law was kept in place. She noted that this is not a political crisis where politicians can negotiate and find common ground, but rather a public health crisis in the midst of a global pandemic. Legislation passed by both chambers on Thursday intended to extend some of Whitmer's orders, but the governor says that they are statutorily and constitutionally flawed. Now, she added that even if the bill was not flawed, she would have had to veto it because it was not written to go into effect immediately. Continuing under those executive orders, Governor Whitmer has issued extensions and modifications to several of her previous orders. According to WTVB and MLive, the stay-at-home order now remains in effect until May 28th in concordance with the state of emergency. The order regarding protections for consumers and employees at grocery stores and pharmacies continues until May 29th. It also extends a temporary relief of licensing requirements for food sellers and pharmacies. The governor previously issued an executive order that will open up the construction industry by this Friday in accordance with her plan to reopen the state's economy in phases. It also announced the launch of the new program called Futures for Frontliners, which will provide a tuition-free pathway to college or a technical certification for essential workers who do not have a college degree. Now, that program will be open to hospital and nursing home workers, grocery store clerks, those who provide child care to critical infrastructure workers, PPE manufacturing employees, public safety workers, and employees who pick up trash, deliver supplies, or have other critical jobs. Governor Whitmer noted that the program will be the first of its kind in the country and said it was inspired by the federal government's support of soldiers returning from World War II. Now, she has also extended the state's work share program to allow the reduction of employee hours for unemployment benefits, including the additional $600 pandemic benefit. Both programs will be funded through the federal dollars. Meanwhile, in Indiana, Governor Eric HOLCOMB has outlined his plan to reopen the state's economy, which he calls Back on Track Indiana. The Herald Republican at WTVB says that the governor opened his Friday press release conference by saying, quote, "We're ready to move ahead in a measured way." Now, Holcomb says that there are 4 reasons he's willing to reopen the state now. Evidence of a 14-day decrease in COVID-19 hospitalizations, retaining the capacity of ICU beds and ventilators, the ability to test all people with symptoms statewide, and the ability to contact trace all cases. He said that the state has either met those goals or has ramped up its efforts to do so. Now, that comes as the state has expanded testing and is preparing to open a call center to conduct contact tracing with 500 operators. According to the details of the plan, Indiana began in Stage 1, in which essential businesses remain open and schools remain closed. Now, Stage 2 begins today for most Indiana counties. Now, high-risk individuals and all Hoosiers over the age of 65 should remain at home as much as possible. Social gatherings must be held to 25 people or less. Now, beginning on May 8th, religious services may continue with social distancing measures in place, though online or drive-in services are still encouraged. Starting on May 11th, restaurants will be allowed to open at half capacities, but bar seating must remain closed. Also on that date, essential travel restrictions will be lifted and non-essential manufacturers will be allowed to reopen. Retail and commercial businesses will also be allowed to reopen at half capacity, and personal services such as salons and tattoo parlors will be able to open by appointment only, but will have to follow social distancing guidelines. While those who work in offices are still encouraged to work remotely as much as possible. Now, that leaves Hoosiers looking ahead to Stage 3, which is scheduled for May 24th. Those who are high risk will be allowed to go out with caution. Remote work will still be encouraged, but retail stores and malls will be allowed to go up to 75% capacity, with movie theaters at 50%. Now, those who can work remotely should continue to do so. Stage 4 is tentatively scheduled for June 14th. Now, at that level, face coverings will be optional. Social gatherings up to 200 people will be allowed. State government buildings will be open to the public, and zoos and museums will be allowed to open at half capacity. Offices and retail stores will be allowed to reopen at full capacity, and restaurants will be at 75% capacity. Recreational sports and leagues will be allowed to continue. Stage 5 is tentatively scheduled for July 4th. Now, that is when fairs, festivals, and sporting events will be allowed to resume with social distancing measures in place. Retail stores, restaurants, personal services, gyms, and amusement parks will be allowed to open entirely. At that point, the state will also decide what to do about the coming school year. Now, HOLCOMB says that the process will be both art and science, and it depends on all Hoosiers to do their part. But over in Ohio, Governor Mike DeWine has issued a new executive order that he made sure to specify is not a stay-at-home order. The Bryan Times, the Fulton County Expositor, and WLKI are all reporting on the change. DeWine laid out his state's path forward on Thursday and set it in motion on Friday. Health measures that do not require a hospital stay do not require a hospital stay are allowed to continue. Starting today, manufacturers, distributors, construction workers, and office workers are allowed to return to work. On May 12th, non-essential retailers will be allowed to reopen as long as they take safety precautions into account. As for graduation ceremonies, DeWine says that they will not be permitted if they amount to mass gatherings. The governor says that the preferred option is to hold the ceremonies online or as a drive-in ceremony where students would arrive at a designated location to pick up their diplomas. He added that the graduation gatherings should include 10 or fewer people. DeWine says that he understands some will say Ohio shouldn't have opened at all, and some will say that the state didn't open enough. But he believes his plan is the sweet spot. Now, the new order initially required face masks to be worn in public, but DeWine told ABC's This Week that he has reversed that requirement because he believes it went too far. Well, a murder suspect has been formally indicted in a story that spanned 2 states, and one county will likely be hearing sirens today, but don't worry, it's just a test. We'll be right back right after this.
The Saucy Dogs is the name, and barbecue is the game. Come on down for a good time and some great food. At Saucy Dogs, try our barbecue nachos or our tasty ribs. We'll have you howling for more. Saucy Dogs, downtown Jonesville.
Does your vehicle sound like a tractor putting down the road? Then you need to see the experts at RS Custom Exhaust in Hillsdale. They will give you a free estimate along with first-class customer service. They custom make any exhaust needed for your vehicle. Stop and see them today, located at 1461 Vera Drive in Hillsdale.
Hello everyone, it's Brett Boyd from the Market House, where we have adjusted our hours to serve the community and keep our community and our associates safe. So now Market House is available to you from 9 until 6 every single day, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. with an exclusive shopping hour for seniors from 9 to 10. And don't forget our text shopping service as well, 517-234-2020. Market House is here for you.
Well, the day man accused of killing his father before leading police on a chase across 2 states has been formally charged in Defiance, Ohio. Now, the Bryan Times says 33-year-old Dustin VOGELSONG is facing 1 first-degree count each of aggravated murder, attempted murder, and aggravated robbery. He also faces 2 second-degree counts each of felonious assault and kidnapping, as well as a 5th-degree felony count of cruelty to companion animals. 74-year-old Larry VOGELSONG of Bryan was found dead due to a head trauma at his son's home on March 1st following a domestic disturbance call. Authorities have previously said Dustin and his mother of 2 children were involved in an altercation when the woman called his parents over in an attempt to calm the situation. Larry VOGELSONG was apparently trying to prevent his son from taking the children with him, and that's when authorities say Dustin used a shovel as a deadly weapon against his father. The younger VOGELSONG also alleged injured both women in the incident. Both were treated for those injuries and released. The animal cruelty charge comes in as authorities claim Dustin also killed a pet cat during the incident. He later fled into Hillsdale County, where a Camden Township woman took his children into her home when VOGELSONG attempted to carjack her in her own driveway. VOGELSONG then allegedly stole some fuel from an area gas station before he was finally apprehended at a different gas station near the Ohio Turnpike. A stranded motorist ended up getting arrested in Williams County last week. Well, the Bryan Times says around 11:20 Wednesday night, 39-year-old Brian Long of Bryan was trying to flag down passing vehicles on the turnpike at the Ohio 15 overpass because his car broke down. But when Williams County Sheriff's deputies arrived to help him out, well, they found that he had an outstanding warrant for failure to appear and an original charge of failure to file city taxes in 2003. Now he was taken to the Bryan Police Department where he posted bond and was released. Hillsdale County residents, well, it's only a test. Emergency Management and Central Dispatch will be testing the county's emergency sirens between 6 o'clock and 6:30 tonight. Now that does depend on weather conditions, but the forecast for this evening is looking clear. Emergency traffic on the frequency used to control the sirens may also cause a delay. In either case, if it doesn't happen tonight, the test will be held next Monday, the 11th. Steuben County drivers will have some construction to deal with starting tomorrow. WLKI says that the Highway Department will begin prepping for the projects in the Pleasant Lake area, weather permitting. That will build on drainage work that has already taken place. If you have any questions, you can call the Highway Department at 260-668-1000, extension 3600. Well, a local college is searching for a new coach, and tonight is the night to honor some emergency workers. We'll tell you how you can participate when we come right back.
El Cerrito's variety-packed menu has something for everyone. With generous servings and lots of flavor, you'll think of it as a fiesta for your taste buds. Dine in or carry out at El Cerrito on Chicago Street in downtown Coldwater and Carlton Road in Hillsdale.
There's a reason that professionals shop at Jonesville Lumber. They expect quality, service, and knowledge. And that's exactly what they receive. For nearly 100 years, Jonesville Lumber has been family-owned. We take pride in serving our area with great products at competitive prices. We have dedicated project estimators in-house that will help figure the materials needed to complete your next task at hand. Whether you're building your dream home, adding a pole barn, building a deck, updating your kitchen, or painting your front door, let Jonesville Lumber help you with your next project.
The Saucy Dogs is the name and barbecue is the game. Come on down for a good time and some great food. At Saucy Dogs, try our barbecue nachos or our tasty ribs. We'll have you howling for more. Saucy Dogs, downtown Jonesville.
Well, after 3 seasons, Hillsdale Charger women's basketball coach Matt FRITSCHE is leaving to take a job in his home state of Nebraska. The college athletics department says he's been hired as an administrator and an athletic director at Grand Island Northwest High School. FRITSCHE came to Hillsdale for the 2017-28 season following the departure of Todd Mitzmer, who himself was been hired 2 seasons prior. FRITSCHE was previously an assistant coach at Creighton University. Now, his tenure represented a fresh start for the Charger women, coaching the team to a GMAC tournament championship and the program's 5th Division II tournament appearance in his first year at Hillsdale. Now, 4 players FRITSCHE coached are in the Chargers 1,000-point club. Now, those would be Allie Dwyer, Brittany Gray, McKenna Ott, and Allie Dittmer. Now he posted a 42-45 overall record and went 31-31 in conference matchups. Now he's also one of only 3 coaches in the program's 39-year history to lead the team to an NCAA or NAIA tournament appearance. The other 2 were Claudette Charney and Phyllis Cupp. Now, FRITSCHE says it's been an unbelievable honor to work with the women of the team and to represent Hillsdale College. He added that he's going to miss everything about Hillsdale, but he believes this decision is the best for he and his family. The college has already begun their search for a new women's basketball coach. And finally, this afternoon, today is International Firefighters Day, and you're encouraged to shine your light for firefighters. The National Fallen Firefighters Association is asking you to put a red lights out front tonight in appreciation for the crews who work every day to keep us safe. Now, they like to share photos of your display on their website as well, which you can find at firehero.org. And of course, you can share your tribute on social media with the hashtag #ShineYourLightForFirefighters. And be sure to tag the NFFF when you do. Well, those are the today's top stories. We'll see you right back here tomorrow for HTV1 News at noon. Don't forget, you can find our more streams and our live news 24/7 at htv1.net. For all of us here at HTV1, I'm Scott Pienta, and I want you to enjoy the rest of your afternoon and have a great day, everyone.
Tired of having everyone know you're coming before you arrive because of your exhaust? If so, then it's time to call the experts at RS Custom Exhaust in Hillsdale. RS Custom Exhaust has all the tools and parts to make your vehicle quiet again. And for you sports car enthusiasts, if you're looking for the roar to be the king of the roads, RS Custom Exhaust can help you too. With free estimates and first-class service, RS Custom Exhaust has your vehicle covered. So stop and see them today, located at 1461 Vera Drive in Hillsdale.
Hello everyone, it's Brett Boyd from the Market House, where we have adjusted our hours to serve the community and keep our community and our associates safe. So now Market House is available to you from 9 until 6 every single day, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. with an exclusive shopping hour for seniors from 9 to 10. And don't forget our text shopping service as well, 517-234-2020. Market House is here for you.